Welcome to the Book Corner with me, Mish Atagana, a podcast for book lovers and book lovers adjacent. Hey, welcome back to the Book Corner with me, Mish Atagana. So today it's an interesting podcast because I literally just finished reading these books. Um, it's a trilogy of some sort. I mean, it's three books in the same universe. I can call it a trilogy. But each story is its own unique story, if you will. But that's not what's interesting about this book. What's interesting about this book is that I don't know WTF I read. I don't know while I was reading it, I kept going, huh? I'm like, what the heck? I had so many expletives while I was reading this book. I kept going, I'm so sorry. I don't know what is happening right now. But it's one of those books I call, what did I just experience? It's not even what did I just read, it's what did I just experience. That's how I look at these books. Like, what did I just experience? Which is wild to me. It is fully wild in these books. But without further ado, let's get into these books where I'm not sure what the heck I just experienced. So let's talk about it. That time I got drunk and saved a demon. That time I got drunk and yeeted a love potion at a werewolf. And that time I got drunk and saved a human. These books are by an author called Kimberly Lemming. They are they were on my cozy fantasy reads. As you guys know, when I read Legends and Latte, my world changed. I did not know there was such a thing as cozy fantasy, and I was gasping for more. Like, literally, it was like I was a woman with an insatiable thirst for more. It is sweet. It's literally like the world described. It's so cozy. It's me sitting in my little book nook and just wrapping a blanket around myself and reading with a cup of tea, a cup of hot chocolate in winter, and just getting lost in this beautiful world of low stakes, enjoyable, a hug in a book. That's how I felt about Legends and Latte. And so I kind of started researching more about this cozy fantasy genre and what the books that are in that genre and what I needed to read. I just love the feeling because sometimes I read a lot of fantasy with like so much drama. If everyone's not dying, half of the people are dead by the time you get through the book. But these are just like, there's a happy ending inside. There's some drama, but it's never life or death. It's like you can solve it, you know. So I got a bunch of recommendations through search and TikTok and people, and one of them was like, you gotta read these what that time I got drunk books. I was like, okay, I gotta read that time I got drunk books. And I kept trying to get them. I think um every shop I went to had either a copy or not all of them. And because there were three books, I just assumed it was this trilogy with the continuation of the story. And you know me, I have to have all the series, if possible, so I can continue reading. Like the way I'm gagging for the conclusion of, the Ending Fire series. Yeah, so I need books to be done so I can kind of go through them. So finally, I got all three books. And I began reading. By the way, these are super easy reads. I think I read a book a day. They're books you can read in a single sitting. To be honest, I think each book took me maybe 5 to 6 hours, 7 max to read. The writing is also it is that fluid, is that easy. But we'll get more into the writing just now. So I picked up that time I got drunk and saved the demon. I'm like, oh, exciting. So we start off in this little cozy town with this sassy, black woman, love me a sassy black woman in a story. And she's like out here downing her drinks at this festival thing, talking about how she doesn't want to be no hero, how she doesn't want to go on adventures, and she's so happy she doesn't have to do those things. And we kind of follow her, and she's got this friend who makes cheese, and she's like really drunk, so she wants cheese. Apparently it's her thing. When she's super drunk, cheese is her vibe, so she wants cheese. And then she's on her way back, home, and that's where our story kicks off. So for context, they live in this place where demons are banished by this goddess called Mava. So our character Cinnamon, Sin for short, whose family owns a cinnamon farm. Yeah, I know. I see it too. So demons are banished behind this thing called this gate called Vauxhall Gate. So they all live in this other place. So every 15 years, their goddess seeks out heroes to go help secure the gate and make sure the demons don't escape. So they all live in peaceful, happy life, and they're grateful to this goddess because she's rid the world of demons who kind of at some point, 600 years ago, got crazy with some disease and were killing humans and things like that. So it's happy time. So they celebrate. So she's like out celebrating the chosen heroes. So the heroes party, they've gone to go do their job. Um, and then she's on her way home. And this neighborhood rascal tries to mug her. And it's like this funny interaction where she's like, kid, are you kidding me? And she kind of ends up like, dressing him down and embarrassing him. So he like runs off and whatnot. But she hears this noise. Someone is trapped under something. So she hears this noise. And she's like, oh, they must have been caught when there was this avalanche or thing that happened. The explosion happened earlier in the night. Okay, let's go see. And then she's like, oh, someone's trapped under a rock. So she helps this person under a rock. And she's like, hey, are you good? But it's dark, so she can't really see anything. It's like, hey, are you okay? Is everything fine? And the person's like, yeah, it's great for me, but it's unfortunate for you because it's very uncouth to kill one's savior. And girl was like, bitch, what? It was literally like, I'm sorry, say what now? And it turns out she saved this demon and he's now chasing her to like attack her, kill her, eat her. I don't know, man. But she's running home. She's like, okay, I'm almost home. Let me just run home and lock my door. Also, I'm curious, why did she think locking her door was going to save her from a demon? Because they didn't explain that to me. Do they have some sort of like demon protection thing on their doors? Like if you lock it, a demon can't get in? Because I don't know about the demons in the story. Like I feel like a demon's gonna push past your door if they're chasing you, right? But my girl is running hard. She like runs home, like, but the demon catches her, and his eyes are like this creepy red, colory, blendy or gold. I can't remember. So she grabs like a cinnamon branch and she like yanks it in his face, and he's like trying to like recover from that, and she runs and hides in the house. And the next morning, she's like, "Jeepers, what a weird ass, situation that happened." And she's talking to her family, so they're all having family breakfast, and her brothers are laughing at her. And her mom is like, okay, what's going on? And her dad is like, okay, we need to go to the goddess, to the temple of the goddess, and just like pray for some protection and things. And her brothers don't believe her that there was a demon that attacked her. So they're like all making fun. And this is like a 24-year-old woman. These are grown ups. And then the one of the brother goes to her, so what does this demon look like? And the demon apparently turns around at the door, goes kind of like this. And they're like, wait, what? And it's like this dude, apparently super handsome dude, two horns, living his best life. Babe is like, what you doing here? And and then they go, what? And he goes, what is this thing that you hit me with? And he's like, cinnamon branch. And it goes, oh, it stopped the madness. I'm like, I'm sorry, what now? So now the cinnamon is like the magic thing to stop the demons from going crazy. And then he launches into his whole story about how actually this goddess that they keep worshiping is the villain of said story. And she put the demons under a curse. And that's why the demons are like gone crazy and killing people. And he's trying to destroy said goddess, who happens to be an evil necromancer witch, so that they can all gain their freedom. And now he says to her, you have to help me do it, or I'm going to kill your family. I was like, okay, I guess that's what we're doing. So that's we set off on our quest. This is where our quest begins. So they have to go to these 4 temples of this goddess and this destroy these cups, these chalices that are held in these temples, which are her phylactery, where her heart lives. And if you destroy all 4, then you can kill her and banish her from this realm, something like that. So my girl is now packed up with her spices and carriage full of spices and things because my girl loves her food. Love a girl that loves her food, and she does not want to eat bland food on this quest that she doesn't want to go on. So my girl Sin, with our demon who turned out to be named Fallon, get on the road to go do the destroying. And as they kind of get on this journey, so it's like they're getting to know each other, um, and they get to this river place where some other kind of demons try to like, lure her into the water, which also, backstory, apparently similar kind of demons stole her sister, Cherry, who had been missing for the last 4 or so years. And the demon tries to lure her with the voice of her sister. It's a whole thing. Her own demon that she's traveling with finds, kind of wakes up and goes, "Don't do that," and destroys the thing. And then carries her out of the water. And then it's like a whole thing. And then he braids her hair because it's all muddy. And they take a bath in this river. And they're taking a bath in this river. Both of them are naked, by the way, in this river. My girl is lusting hard. So this is where things got a little bit interesting for him. Like, I thought this was a cozy fantasy book. It was a spicy fantasy book because baby's like staring at this man is staring at this babe. And then he says to her, "Do you have a lover?" Or and she goes, "No." And he goes, "Okay, cool. That makes it easier because you're going to be my wife." And I actually burst out laughing at this. I was just like, "Wait, what?" I was in hysterics and I was reading this on a plane. So the guy sitting next to me was just like, "What is wrong with this girl?" And then she's now ogling him. Now is a whole thing. I mean, guys, when I tell you there is spice, like, I'm just like, there are words that were used to describe things that he was doing to her that I was just like, what is happening right now? It was very, very intense. But my best is like, now that she's like, "Okay, I'm not going to marry you. That's not how I do things." And he's like, "Okay, what can I do to prove to you or to earn your love or whatever it is?" So she's like, "I'm gonna give you if every time you do something that makes me happy or something good that doesn't make me think you're evil, you get a point. And if you can get 1,000 points by the time our quest is done, sure, I'll be your wife." He's like, "Cool, I'm gonna earn 1,000 points." And then he's like doing some things to her, and she's like, I'm gonna give you 100 points if you just like don't stand so close to me because girls are feeling things. So this is now the turn the story is taken. So they get to the next place to destroy the thing. They meet up with this woman in this town where demons are enslaved and are used for like menial labor. So you've got werewolves that are being forced to shed um, their fur so people can make fur coats. You've got limits, you've got all these creatures that are being held under captivity. And they all see her and her demon. They go, "Oh, you need to collar your demon, or the mages, like the wizards, are gonna, arrest you or whatever, whatever." And then her and a demon are like in this room and they're talking about their plan to go destroy this thing and destroy this goddess. And the barkeep hears them and she's like, "Wait, what's going on?" So they tell her everything. And she says to the demon, so demons have higher function. They can think for themselves and they're independent creatures. And he was like, "Duh." And girl was like, "Damn, I have been complicit in slavery." So it's like this insane slavery. So now she's like, "I'm joining up your quest, leaving my bar behind, taking my pet hyena." She has a pet hyena. And then off they go. So they come up with this plan to go destroy this thing. Now, my girl Sin is meant to meet them later. On her way, she runs into two other demons that are being held captive, frees them with her cinnamon, and off they go. And it's like this whole thing. And they have like this huge-ish battle with the mages as they try to destroy this cup. Well, this witch, obviously, they're trying to destroy her if kind of Horcrux, and she's trying to stop them, right? And then everyone's like, "Subdue the dragon." And she's like, Cinema's like, "Who's this dragon?" Turns out her demon is actually a dragon who transformed into a full-fledged dragon. But I tell you, the story is bonkers. It is bonkers. They're still a ship. And now they're like a pirate band of demons on their quest to go destroy this thing. It is so hilarious. Like it is the writing is really funny. It is witty and it's so bonkers. But every page, every new thing, I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, what is going on? And also another thing, they're very little demon women. So all these demons are thirsty AF. They are thirsty AF. It I don't even know how else to describe it. But they conclude their mission. Cinnamon before they conclude their mission, Cinnamon gives him 900 points, like all at once. And the next thing you know, my baby's married to a guys is married to a dragon. Guys, I'm so sorry, but there is no way to tell you about the story without spoiling it, without giving you spoilers. But it is hilarious. It is random. It is bonkers. I'm going to use the word bonkers again. I don't even understand what I experienced, but I thought it was crazy funny. I was actually thirsting after a dragon, fam. It was weird. It was really, really interesting. So that was like kind of my introduction into the series. This, that time I got drunk and saved a demon. Then they've destroyed the fake goddess. The gates are open. Demons are coming back into society. They're all back in their little town, a town called Blue Hill, uh, which is in the bayou. So think of the American South, but with demons. So maybe New Orleans with demons, or a little town next to New Orleans with demons. So they're all living there. This dragon and Cinnamon are married. They're living their married life. So the pirate demons have moved in. Obviously, the neighbors are not too happy about the fact that demons are living in their hood. Who can blame them? And then you have Cinnamon's friend Brie, who you guessed it, sells cheese. She's a cheesemaker. She is being harassed by this dude who only wants her for her farm. Naturally, men only wants her for her farm, and he tries to give her a love potion. She doesn't know it's a love potion, but he hands her this drink, and she's so upset that he keeps haranguing her. She throws it at him or yeet it at him, and he ducks, and it lands on the person behind him. Who, guess what? You guessed it. So happened to be a werewolf. So again, that time I got drunk and he did a love potion out of werewolf. So my girl Bree is like, "What is happening?" And this werewolf is like, "You are my mate. I've imprinted on you." She's like, "Babe, that's a love potion. I'm working on you." So now it turns out that this love potion has some like dangerous side effects where if it doesn't, you don't find the antidote, this man's gonna have a heart attack. His heart is quite literally is gonna bust out of his chest. So now Bree and Felix the werewolf begin a strange courtship because he's obsessed with her. He's like, "No, I'm imprinted. I know the feeling. This is not a love potion. You're my mate." And they're going back and forth on this journey. In the meantime, women keep disappearing from the town, like single women keep disappearing from the town. So naturally, Felix thinks because single women are disappearing from the town, the best way to protect his love is to go to the court and get a marriage certificate by threatening the clerk, and then putting a sign outside her farm with their new family name, Monet. I'm not gonna lie, when I was reading this part, I'm like, this is some questionable choices around consent that's happening right now. And like they addressed it a little in the book, but it was like she wasn't like outright like, "Fam, what did you do? We need to fix that." But it was both like, "Wait, what? We're married?" So it was more shock and surprise and exasperation than indignation, I would say. So that for me was a bit sketchy on like the consent bit there. But again, as the story carries on, it's like you can either break the curse, you can try to break the curse with some of these spells that they found, this anti-love spell. And if it doesn't work, you're just gonna have to have sex with them. I'm like, I'm sorry, what now? And it gets really random and insane. Again, bonkers. Like I'm literally reading this going, the heck is happening right now? Like it's very hard to fathom a lot of the stuff that I experience. Like when I say experience, because you read it and you go, this cannot be. Wait, what? Like seriously? Like, yeah. I kept going, wait, what? A lot while I was reading it. So turns out a bunch of douchey guys have been kidnapping these women because they're trying to resurrect some lobster, squid god, whatever it is, because apparently women won't go out with them. There's a commentary on society on that, by the way. America, wow. Um, and then she, it turns out that the people who were trying to resurrect this random god have the antidote for the love potion. And it also turns out same goddess that they banished is the same god they're trying to resurrect just in a different form. So she eventually throws him the love potion, but now she's upset because the love potion's went off. He doesn't want her anymore, or she thinks he doesn't want her anymore. But now she's caught feeling she's in love and she wants to be married to him. Blah blah blah. Fast forward, of course he's in love with her. He actually did imprint on her, and now she's married to a werewolf who bit her, and now she's also going to be a werewolf. It is wild, 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 wild. And now they're all in this happy town with their little lives. And this, I was like, this poor, poor town is just getting all these random demons coming to knock on their women in the most bizarre and strangest way. And then the third and final book that I read in this is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Human. So this particular one is now from the perspective of said demon. So this is now the second dragon in the story. So we met him in the first book. So by the way, everyone in these books, we either met in the first book or they were mentioned in the first book. So now remember I told you in book one, Cinnamon had a sister Cherry that got stolen by some water thing. They thought she got killed. No, she didn't. That water thing took her to an island with a dragon guarding a tower. So she's been in this tower for 5 years, and this dragon's just like there, not doing anything. So she's trying to escape, and she can't escape. So this other dragon, who happens to be friends with her sister, but she doesn't know this, comes to the island to talk to the other dragon, and he smells her, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, this is my mate is here, my fated mate is here." Now, baby's trying to figure out a way to escape this island, so she's like, "Let me drug this guy, and I can try and convince him to, save me and take me home." So I think she like brews him some like expired ayahuasca. Man is a lightweight. He literally, before he even finished drinking the thing, he already said to her, "I'm gonna take you home," because he thinks he's her fated mate. But now he's too high and he doesn't kind of see what's going on. So he's taking her, what's happening with them as consent. So he bites her to transfer some of his dragon magic, which in Dragon World means you're married. And the next thing you know, he takes her to a castle in Vauxhall. So this girl's like, this is not happening to me. And she's now trying to escape. And he's like, "I'll take you home, but you need to tell me where your home is." And she was like, "I don't trust the dragon in my home." Now, this time she doesn't know the goddess is fake. So she's thinking the goddess is still protecting people. He tells her this, and she's not worried. Oh, what if like bad things happen to my town? I don't want bad things to happen to my town. So they go on this quest. So she says, "Take me to go see a unicorn. And eventually we're gonna figure out where I live and whatnot." So they now go on this adventure where they're going to see a unicorn. And it's like now obviously his dragon magic is doing things to us. So there's a lot again, the spiciness, literally these books are just like I'm gonna say 45% of them is just people trying to get it on or people getting it on. I'm not gonna lie. It is really it's just bonkers the way it is told. Um and they literally go through this whole journey of discovery, like traveling through this world, and she's getting to know him, and they're building a relationship. Um, and they get to a place where, yet again, some demons are still are being enslaved. So now she's trying to, and he gets kidnapped. So now she's trying to go save him, and his sister's like, "You can't be my brother's wife. You're a human," and blah blah blah. Eventually, they all figure each other out, and then when they get to this beautiful peak where he takes her to this thing to go see like this beautiful thing, and then she sees the unicorn and like, oh, happiness, like, oh my gosh, I love you, this is so great. And then she goes, "Oh, I'm from this place," and he just goes, "Wait, what? I literally left that place the morning I found you. I could have sent you home like a long time ago if you just said something." And then it's like, oh yeah, so he takes her home and it's like happiness. But again, it's like the most bizarre thing. Like in this book, for me, aside from the fact that it's a weird dragon situation and everyone's kind of psychotic and crazy, and these dragons are hella possessive, is there's a kitten in this book that looked so shady to me from the start. Like, guys, I am not a fan of cats. Like, I have an aversion to cat. I have an allergy to cat. But this kitten, I just knew this kitten was sus from the get go, and it turned out that this kitten was not actually a kitten, but a ferocious monster hidden as a kitten, which is also another like whacked out situation. But and then there's a talking sword, which we met in the second book. It's like this off characters. It's a bonkers like crew of characters in these stories. They are so wild, and I still don't know what I experienced. It is so random, but they are so witty. They are written in such a cantankerous, fun, and almost like a bit of like there's this like this insanity in the way they're written, and the characters are brash. They're fun. They're hella drunk half the time, but it's funny. It's a funny. These are funny reads. I don't even know if I'll call them cozy. They do have some of the cozy elements. The stakes are not that high. They're not do or die. Um, but they also feel like, they when they're not feeling intense and spicy and you're going, what the, you know, they do feel kind of warm, and especially in the way some of the demons yearn for a partner in life and just camaraderie since they've been freed, and family. That's so sweet. Look, the best of the lot has definitely got to be That Time I Got Drunk and Saved the Demon. I think this is the best of the lot. The werewolf one is okay. The human one, I feel like it could have been better. But it also could just be like the material didn't feel as strong as the other two, in my opinion. But it's such fun reads. If you ever find yourself looking for just some random stuff to read this. And I want to hear your thoughts because I still don't know what the heck I experienced when I read these books. Alrighty, that was the book corner. Thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to chatting to you again soon. Please don't forget to follow on Instagram, Globe Mish. Don't forget to follow on TikTok and X, Mish Atagana, and I would love your thoughts on what books I should talk about next. Thank you.